Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm deeply frustrated that we're sitting in this committee room listening to Republicans recite the same culture war talking points instead of discussing how we can address college affordability in that crisis. This year, congressional Republicans slashed over $300 billion in federal student aid on top of cuts to Medicaid and SNAP, all to give billionaires a permanent tax break. As a member on the Education and Workforce Committee, I'm disappointed that my Republican colleagues choose to spend taxpayer dollars this way rather than reinvesting in our higher education system to lower student costs. Ms. Harrington, what message are congressional Republicans and the Trump administration sending to students and families and colleges by diverting over $300 billion from students towards tax cuts for the ultra-rich?
The concern is that they are not concerned about equal opportunity for all, that they're putting the folks who need it most against the wealthiest of Americans. If folks can never go to college, they'll never be able to apply for a Truman Scholarship anyway. So the real focus should be on how we expand affordability across the board.
Yeah. I mean, I think this hearing is really part of an ideological agenda, taking a quote from Dr. Hess's introduction speech. I have a concern in Arizona's CD7. We have a lot of rural communities. Rural students in local colleges are already facing shrinking resources and limited access to higher education. The Big Ugly Law worsens these challenges by making college less affordable and undermining the institutions that serve as economic anchors in rural areas. Many of the policy changes in this law deepen educational and workforce disparities, pushing rural communities further behind. I think those communities in my district in southern Arizona, like Douglas, Nogales, Ajo, Somerton, and San Luis, that are affected as a direct result of these policies with communities like this in mind. Ms. Harrington, how do the changes to the student loan program and Pell eligibility in the Big Ugly Law harm rural communities, and what unique challenges do rural students and colleges face?
It puts college even further out of reach. If they have fewer resources to go to school, the institutions themselves have fewer resources to provide services. And in rural communities, oftentimes these institutions, just like many others, are the drivers of that economy as well. And so if these institutions are struggling, the entire community struggles, and that will have ripple effects across that community.
Thank you. Ms. Kabbany, you mentioned left-leaning careers when you were talking about the kinds of your assessment. I'm wondering if an immigration attorney would be considered a left or right-leaning career.
That would probably fall under a could not classify, or potentially left-leaning if that person also had other Democratic or progressive items on their bio, so that we could make a better determination.
Okay, and what about a public school teacher teaching in an urban public school setting? Would that be a left-leaning or right-leaning career?
That would be an NA. We wouldn't put them in either.
I'm just really curious about how, you know, we're having a lot of big numbers and discussing what this looks like for all of the Truman Scholars, who's being selected, and knowing personally a Truman Scholar, understanding the transformative nature of this scholarship. I think it's really important for us to get through what this process looks like, and that on every college campus it's competitive. It's competitive, and so to suggest that because someone is interested in a career, when you look at them after having all the education that they've collected, I think that it's important for us to see that these opportunities that we have in these spaces really influence people, and maybe they started out with one career in mind and ended up with another one. And so I'm very concerned about how we're categorizing a left-leaning and a right-leaning career. If you're a member of Congress, it shouldn't be either one, right? That should just be, it is what it is. So I want to thank you all for your time here. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you.